often seen organizations intent to get diversity and inclusion in place is in the right place, but we do not see impact happening through it. What do you think has been your experience around it?
That's actually a very good question, Janvi. So the organization has been in this space for about, say, 6 years now, but personally, I've been in this field for about, let's say, 2.5, closing in 3 years. And with the countless companies that I have worked with, the multiple HRs, say CHROs, your founders, co-founders, like you said, the intention is right. And there is a lot of conversation right now on building, say, diversity and inclusion. And while a lot of companies get it right, sometimes companies, I wouldn't say get it wrong, they don't, it doesn't have the impact that they want it to have. And these are a few things that I've noticed as to why that happens. One is because you need to find out where the organization is on their, say, inclusion journey, or their diversity journey. How open is the organization? So it might be that you are a startup, but you might still have an audience, or you'll have a team that is open to having this conversation. They might be a few years or a few steps ahead, where you can just start out on having deeper conversations on inclusion, having better, say, policies. But you might have an organization that might have been around for at least 15 years, but is still very far away from having this conversation. So a lot of times companies go in with their inclusion initiatives without doing a study as to if this is going to be impactful or not. It is important to know where you are in your journey as a company before you move on. So whether it is a policy, sometimes the policy might not work because people might not even understand why it exists. And so they're never going to use it if they don't even know why you have this policy in place. It might be an amazing policy where you're saying that I'm an equal opportunity employer, I'm open to people from the LGBTQ community, I'm open to people from the person with disability community. But then when you look at the workplace or you look at the culture in the organization, nobody's open to even talking about this. So that policy just exists in isolation. Then it's a piece of paper and that's it. It ends there. So it's just important to know where you are in your journey. The easiest way also to do that is to do a study of the organization, which is something that we do. A lot of other spaces do as well. It is called a diversity index. So you know, based on the data and the numbers, where you are in your journey and what you can fix and what you can do better.
That actually is a very important point. How do you think we move forward after this with the gender sensitization, with the diversity, equity, inclusion sensitization in the organizations? We identify, okay, this is not working, this is not happening. How do we move forward with sensitizing around LGBTQI, around menstrual leaves, around women being open about caretaking duties that they take up, or different sabbaticals, their own experiences at home, and how can we talk about it more openly?
Okay, so let's maybe start with the first part about, say, gender sensitization. I don't know if you've noticed that the female labor force, say, participation in India has been dropping increasingly. Although growth-wise as a country, we are doing well, but the female labor force participation is decreasing. And that is an anomaly because it is not usual for that to happen. And in India, that is actually the reality. To talk about gender sensitization, you need to start with how safe is the organization to even have, say, women in the workplace, or how safe is it to have people from the LGBTQ in the workplace. When I talk about safety, I'm also talking about, is the location where your office is right now, is it a safe location? Because I know that very often when people are picking their offices or picking the location as to where they want to have it, or you're looking at something that's, say, economical for the organization, but might not be in an area that's a safe area. So that also puts a lot of constraints as to who is going to apply in this organization, who's going to stay, if it's not physically safe for the person to come in to work. It might be, more economically better for the organization, but it's not the best option for, say, you want to have female employees, you want to have employees from the LGBTQ community, you want to have persons with disabilities in your company, but your location just does not work. That's the other thing. Then looking at having not just policies and conversation, but when something happens that is, say, challenges your value as an organization of inclusion, then how do you take that up? If it's someone that's a star performer, do you still treat them with the same standards that you would treat somebody else? Are you going to hold everybody accountable to the same standards that you set? So these are the things that are important. While, you can do the sensitization and do the policies, what do you do next after that? You have to walk the talk in the end. It's going to be difficult, but that is the next step that you have to do. So post all your sensitization programs and your policies, are you holding everyone accountable to the same standards? That would probably be the next step.